What's going on, Excel fanatics? As you can see right now, I'm again on the Microsoft site. I am downloading the PivotTable tutorial. Well, I already did, just to get a head start. I will give you the link. You can see the link up here, but I'll give you the link in the description if you want to try it yourself. So I'm going to walk through this. The initial look, it looks like there's a lot of tabs here. But let's go ahead and just dive in. So what is a pivot table? Pivot table takes data and summarizes it so you can make sense of it without typing any formulas. So say you write out the information in a table, you can change that into a pivot table. So I kind of don't like that it doesn't instruct you right away. So what you can just do in your own time, just insert, and then you got the pivot table button right there. And this table pops up here, right? So the table arranged, so this is what's feeding the new pivot table you're about to make. Notice how they named this. So normally what you would see is actually the cell ranges here, but since this was named, that's why expenses 1 is showing up here. I'll go over that in a second, but on the existing worksheet, this is where I want the pivot table to pop up. I'll just click right next to this, and I get the field list appearing as well as this empty pivot table here. So I'm just going to mimic what they made right here. So it's the buyer in the rows, and then the amount in the values. And then what I'm going to do, just so it matches, went to home, change this drop down to what I had highlighted into currency. If I see there's some decimal points here, right under here, decrease decimal. Click that twice and look at that. So this is different because I guess whatever the sorting was different. So that's why Mom and Kelly are swapped, but otherwise this is good. So yeah, that's your first step at creating a pivot table. Good for you. So to make it a little more complex, right? So I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah, you can actually, is this the same? It's the same table, right? So I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy my pivot table. And notice how the field list goes away when I deselect the pivot table. So using the same data in this tab, I'm going to match this, right? So you notice that the buyers are in the columns, and then the types are in the rows. But the amount doesn't change, just this is where the values are down here. So I just did a lot of dragging and dropping. Pretty good. So again, this is kind of out of order from how they have it, but this is essentially the same results. Pivot charts. So I'm going to copy this. I use Control A, Control C, and I'm just going to exit this out to hide it. If you ever do that, if you ever hide a pivot table, you can actually just click, once you have the pivot table selected, this tab appears, Pivot Table Tools, and under Analyze you'll see Field List. So just clicking that makes that go away. So right here, essentially, to make this chart, I'm going to try to get a match exactly. One of them isn't out. If I want more options, I just click this bottom right arrow. And I'm going to try to make it look like the bar chart here. And voila, that matches. So that's all I did. I had this selected, insert, and since the chart that wasn't up here, the bar chart, I just went to find more options by clicking that little arrow in the corner. So that should have been helpful. So yeah, I'm just about to run out of time, but that was a pretty good first step introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. And don't forget to actually go ahead and subscribe.